To find the midpoint of the line segment with endpoints which have coordinates -1, -2, and the second point with coordinates 4, 2, we'll be using our formula to find the midpoint of a line segment. This formula tells us that if we have a line segment with endpoint x1, y1, and a second endpoint x2, y2, then the midpoint, which I'll call M here, will always have coordinates equal to, the x-coordinate will be equal to x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and the y-coordinate will have the coordinate y1 plus y2 divided by 2. In other words, the coordinates of the midpoint are equal to the averages of both the x-coordinates and the y-coordinates of the two endpoints. Now, let's see how this works here. If I were to call this first point the point 1 and this second point the point 2, then plugging those coordinates into this formula here, we'll find that the midpoint must have coordinates -1 plus 4 over 2, and the y-coordinate would have the coordinates -2 plus 2 over 2. Simplifying this a bit further, we can see that the x-coordinate will become, well, -1 plus 4 is 3, so that leads us to 3 over 2. And the y-coordinate, -2 plus 2 is equal to 0, so that's 0 over 2. We can, of course, go further here. 3 divided by 2 is equal to 1.5, and 0 divided by 2 is, of course, 0. We now have the coordinates of the midpoint. If we were to draw this on an x and y grid, this would look something like this. We have our x and our y. The first point we had was -1, -2, so that's going to be roughly here. So I'll put a little end point here. And the second point we had was 4, 2. So I'm going to say that's roughly here. And I'll again draw a little end point. And so what we've just found is that this line segment, which I'm drawing now, has a midpoint right here, which I'm highlighting in purple. And this point has coordinates 1.5, 0. And we're done.